Hello, and welcome to another episode of Retrospective Gaming. In this episode, I'll be covering Painkiller Black Edition. Now, I got this on GOG a couple months back on the sale, and when I was doing research on the game, it looked very intense, it looked very action-packed, and it looked like a great game to kill time to, and something that I would be very interested in. And talking to people who played the game, I've heard nothing but good things about it. Now, what are my thoughts on the game? Well, you'll just have to watch the video to find out. Now on to Painkiller Black Edition. Now the story starts off with Daniel Garner and his wife Catherine on their way to a birthday meal in bad weather until something horrible happens. They are involved in a fatal car accident which kills them both. Now Catherine makes her way to heaven, but Daniel gets stuck in purgatory until an angel called Samael tells him that in order to receive purification, he has to kill 4 of Lucifer's generals. You see, Lucifer is trying to start a war between heaven and hell, and he's building up a massive army, and it's up to Daniel to stop that. Now that is an interesting concept for a story, and it is very interesting that you travel through different periods of history and time within purgatory. But the fact of the matter is that story is not Painkiller's strong point. It's not meant to be. You see, the story's there, but it's not supposed to be the reason why you play Painkiller. And that's not a bad thing at all. Now let me tell you why. Now the gameplay in Painkiller Black Edition is about dominating everything on the fucking screen. Well, just obliterating anything that moves even an inch, and it's very satisfying. I mean, there are thousands upon thousands of enemies you'll be fighting in this game. Kill them all. That's the motto. Now, for a game like this, weapons are very important, and I was very happy with the weapon variety in this game. Although I do wish there was a couple more weapons. To be fair, the guns in the game have secondary uses. For example, the shotgun, you can freeze enemies and blow them to pieces, so it wasn't really that much of a problem for me. Now there are side things you can do in the game, like finding secret areas or collecting gold, and this gets tallied up at the end of every mission. So for all the completionists out there, there is that. Plus, there are tarot cards, which are power-ups, and you get them for defeating levels in certain ways, like defeating a boss in a certain amount of time, or finding all the gold in one level. So that's something else to keep you occupied, and like I said before, it's great for a completionist. Another thing I wanted to mention was the difficulty. Now I really didn't notice it until I bumped it up to the higher difficulties, because before I was just really mowing enemies down, and except for a couple places it didn't seem that difficult, but when I bumped the difficulty up to the higher levels, wow, it got insane, and I got overwhelmed very quickly, and I knew I had to up my game. I mean, the difficulty in this game can be crazy, and it provides a great challenge for people out there that want to go and try it out. Now, one thing that I really loved about Painkiller was the demon morph mode. You see, when you collect enough souls, you turn into this entity and you're just Mr. Untouchable, and you're just plowing through everything and nothing can beat you while you're in this mode. And it's just really great, and it's one thing that really helps Painkiller stand out in its own little way. So overall, I found the gameplay in Painkiller Black Edition to be really fluent, really responsive, and just overall very satisfying. I mean, killing thousands and thousands of enemies is always nice, and it's great after a long, stressful day. Now, one of the things that was really fun to do in Painkiller, in my opinion, was using the console commands. You see, at one point I just said screw it and typed in PK ammo and PK weapons, which basically gave me every weapon in the game and full ammo for each of them weapons. And it was really fun, especially going back to the levels where maybe you only had one weapon and your melee weapon and that's it throughout the whole level, and just going back and playing it with the full arsenal. And that adds to the replayability of the game. So overall, if you like action-packed games or you're a fan of first-person shooter, then you should really love Painkiller. And you're going to really love the game if you're a fan of games like Doom, Quake, or Serious Sam, then you'll feel right at home with Painkiller. Now, to talk about the sound and atmosphere, Well, first let me start off with the sound. You see, I really didn't have a problem with the gun sounds or anything like that. They were well done. But what I really wanted to talk about was the soundtrack. The soundtrack is fucking epic. You see, the metal soundtrack in this game, it invigorates, it excites, it energizes you to obliterate these thousands upon thousands of enemies that you will face in this game. So it really goes along with the game very well. And wow, it was one of the things that really stood out about the game. Now, as far as atmosphere goes in Painkiller, I believe that it knocks it right out the park. I mean, variety is one of its biggest strengths, and it really keeps the game from being stale, in my opinion. Zombies, samurais, ninjas, monks, these are just a few of the enemies that you will encounter during your playthrough. And as I said earlier, since you're going through purgatory in different time periods, you're always experiencing a new place, and it really keeps it from getting stale. Now, Painkiller Black Edition also comes with the expansion pack, Battle Out of Hell, which really adds to the intensity of the game, and I really have nothing bad to say about it. I really love the expansion pack, and it contains one of my favorite levels in Painkiller, Looney Town, aka what I call it, the Demonic Carnival, and I really enjoyed that level. And some of the levels that I enjoyed in the main game was the Opera House and the military base, but I enjoyed the whole game overall, and I really enjoyed the different levels and the atmosphere of Painkiller. Now, I know the game's supposed to be demonic and scary, but to me, I just found it really funny. I mean, some of the creatures that attack you in this game just made me laugh my ass off, and as much as I enjoyed the game, I really didn't get scared. Now, to be fair, I guess that's because I'm older and I don't get scared by much anymore. So I will give it that. To a younger player, it might scare the shit out of them because there's some crazy shit that goes on in this game. But overall, the game's just intense, it's fun, it's satisfying, and what more can you ask for, especially if you're stressed out? This is one of them games that you have to play. Now, overall, I enjoyed the hell out of Painkiller. It was a welcome surprise, and I got more than my money's worth because I paid under $5 for the game. I got it for very cheap. I'm glad I played the game. It was really fun. And I believe you will enjoy the game too, especially if you're a fan of first-person shooters and old-school games like Doom or Quake. Then I believe this is right up your alley and you should pick it up and play it. It was a blast. Now, due to Painkiller's gameplay, it does have the risk to becoming stale to some gamers, but I believe that Painkiller has enough variety in it with the levels and the type of enemies you face and just the overall atmosphere that it really stays fresh without becoming stale to the point where you don't want to play it anymore. So thanks for watching another episode, and if you like the content, like, comment, and subscribe. I really enjoy making these videos, and be on the lookout because the next episode will be on Fallout 3. So be on the lookout for that. I believe that it's going to be a crazy episode and you won't want to miss it. And as always, have a great day.